Okay, so now let's look at how to graph that piecewise function that we just looked at in the previous video using ALEKS. Sometimes this can be a little bit tricky, so I like to do kind of a quick tutorial. So when you're looking at this, so this is the exact same problem. We just graphed this in the previous video. So now I just want to communicate that graph to ALEKS. So let's start the exact same way we started with the written work, right? So our written work looks like this, where we started with that x squared plus 1 with the parabola. So let's do the same thing in ALEKS. Let me just minimize this so we can kind of look at both screens while we're doing this. Okay, so let's communicate that parabola. All right, so I'm going to use this tool. I know that it's going to have a vertex there. It's shifted up 1, so there we go. And then it will ask you to choose the way it opens. I know it opens up, and now I have to identify another point. So remember, we found over here that the point 1, 2 is on the graph. So let's do that. Here's 1, 2. Okay, so there's my parabola. Now we want to identify the piece of it that we want. So we just want, this piece of the graph. So I'm going to go ahead and put an open circle at 1, 2. That would be here. And then we're going to identify the cut point. So I'm going to use these little scissors, and it's going to tell me where to erase the piece of the graph. So I want that point to be my cut point, 1, 2. So plot that, so they did, and then I take the eraser and I get rid of this piece. So there we go. So that's the piece of the graph that I want. All right, so next we want f of x equals 2 just for x equals 1. So remember we talked about how that was a horizontal line. So I really just need to plot the point 1, 2. Okay, so here's 1, here's 2, so we're filling that right back in. And then last, we want to plot the 7 minus 5x. So that's this piece. And we know 2 points determine a line. So since I just want a piece of the line, I'm going to choose this tool. So then that way I won't have to cut anything. And we'll start at 1, 2. There's 1. And then my second point, I have 3, negative 8. So here's 3, negative 8 is right there. There we go. Okay, so that should do it. Is this function continuous? Yes, it is. So let's hit check, and then I always cross my fingers and hold my breath. Yay, and it worked. So like I said, I just kind of wanted to show you at least one plugging it into ALEKS so you could kind of get the hang of it, but certainly let me know if you have any questions.